Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast, also known as the M.O.B Podcast. I am Evan.
And I'm Ja.
And this is our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from the previous games from the previous day. How are you this Tuesday afternoon, Ja?
Oh, I'm good. Regular.
That's good. I'm doing good as well. Hope everyone had a good day. Hope everyone will have a good day. A lot happened last night, MLK Day, special games. And I told y'all last podcast that I was looking forward to the game shown on TNT. And as y'all saw, I had a right to.
Yeah.
Some very, very interesting games, very fun, great games that happened, the triple header. And so you're going to start off with the most recent game that happened, the end off last night, which was the Golden State Warriors up against the defending champions, Los Angeles Lakers. And just wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
uh,
All of these games lived up to the promise that you had last episode, and it came through. And this was one of them for sure.
Yep. So, give you a brief rundown of what happened during the game. The Lakers looked like they had a comfortable lead. They were up 19 in the first quarter. They were up 17 in the third quarter. But then Golden State, led by Stephen Curry, Oubre, Draymond, and Pascal, came running back. And even though Curry struggled in the first quarter, he caught hot in that second half. And they were able to come from behind and take this come from behind victory against the defending champions in an impressive fashion.
Yeah.
So yes, the Warriors do beat the Lakers, and I guess I'll start off with my thoughts first. Frank Vogel has said during the fourth quarter interview at the start of the fourth quarter, we can't give them life because they just came back. They can come back all the time at any point, especially with their 3-point shooters, especially with Stephen Curry. And he brought up how, they came back against the Clippers a few weeks ago. And he said, we just can't let that happen. Well, Frank, yeah, let that happen. I guess the Warriors if they're facing against a Los Angeles team, they got to come back.
Yeah, man. Well, they are interstate rivals anyway.
Yes, they are interstate rivals. And yeah, they had no answer for the three, and they was leaving Oubre open, and which every team has been leaving Oubre open with the way he's been shooting. But last night he was knocking some down.
Yeah,
he really stepped up for them.
Yeah, he was knocking some down. He was playing defense. He was being his athletic self. He looked kind of spry. He looked like he gained confidence this game, especially around that 3-point line, because he's been getting it from everywhere, from people that he should even care about or worry about, like these casuals that like to say some crazy stuff and things like that. But he came up big for them. He even though I know Stephen Curry being a star, he had a big performance, and Draymond Green being their leader, he had a big performance and everything in terms of how he helped that team out in terms of everything. But Oubre was like their energizer. Oubre is like the main person that when you look at this Warriors win, you have to pinpoint to him as the reason to why they had that feeling, and why they had to remind people, the Warriors had to remind people who they are really.
Yep. You got something else to say?
Yeah. Let's just say, people who also when I look at this situation with the Lakers, right, as talented as they are, as great of a chemistry that they have, this has been a common occurrence, and it has caught them. It got up to them because we have seen this in moments in which the Lakers could not always had given up a comfortable lead this season, and they haven't been able, and even though they've won games, it's because they nearly coughed up the lead. This game, it didn't go their way. You know what I mean? This is like, you see, it was bound to happen if they're going to keep up giving up leads like this, in which teams could find a way to win the game. They're gonna eventually find a way to win, and the Warriors did that off of the fact that of their 3-point shooting and their defense. They did that one time with Memphis. I forgot what other team they do that
Yeah, it
against.
was another team. I'm trying to think of. Was
I
it
think it's the
Spurs?
Spurs. Yes, it's
Yeah, it
Spurs.
was the Spurs.
Yeah, like they did this multiple times and they got lucky, but yet today they didn't get lucky this time. It caught up to them. So the Lakers have to be aware of, like, I'm not saying that they don't move like this or whatsoever or anything like that, but you need to be aware these teams have a chip on your defending champions. You guys, they have these teams going against you, they have chips on their shoulders. Like they gain some kind of confidence playing against you. So you got to be aware of that.
And if you look at the Warriors, they got a lot of their points inside the 3-point line, attacking the paint. Draymond had that big layup on LeBron to take the lead.
Travel,
What?
travel. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not talking about that. That was against
Oh.
somebody else. That wasn't against Braun. That was against Montrezl Harrell. Yeah, that was against Montrezl Harrell. He traveled. Yes, he did travel. I was talking about the layup before to take the lead. That was
Oh
the
yeah,
layup
yeah.
to extend the
I know
lead.
what you're talking about now. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
he had that layup. Eric Pascal was really hooping. He had big bench production for the Warriors, which they needed to help them come from behind. Curry, because he, like I said, he struggled and he struggled a lot from deep. He played inside, then got back out to get some rhythm for the outside shot. I mean, you saw that three that he hit on Anthony Davis. I mean,
Yeah.
just shifty, just
Yeah.
dribble, step back, and three. That was just cold blooded against one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah.
And I was just really impressed at how the Warriors just came back. I was disappointed in how the Lakers played. Braun didn't have the best of games. He was struggling offensively. They got their main pro production from Dennis Schroeder,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the one that really was leading this team in scoring and was making their shots. I mean, Anthony Davis had hit some shots too, and Kuzma as well,
Yeah.
but he was like the main focus of that.
Yeah. And like it's crazy how you say that because yes, but I feel like with the Lakers also, they there was some things both in their control and not in their control that that they just did lousy things in terms of turnovers or foul calls or whatsoever or travelings and stuff like that. Like you need to understand you
Yeah.
can't be careless. They made some careless mistakes down the stretch that kind of caught up to them. And when it was time for them to buckle down on that, as a result, they got caught up and they waited until the wrong moment. And once again, they wait until the closing moments to do things like these. You got to pick those up quickly.
Yep, that is uncharacteristic from a championship team, defending championship team. But nonetheless, a great gutsy win by the Warriors. And the Warriors, after starting off so poorly in the beginning of the season, are now over 500. They are 7-6 with a positive record.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep, it is crazy. Warriors back.
Yeah. All I gotta say is that the first quarter and the second quarter, the scores from the first half did not age well. That's all I say. It did not age well.
No, it did not. But a great win by the Warriors, and we see if they can keep this momentum going on in the future and get higher in the playoff seeding chart.
Yes.
But all right, from defending champions to possible championship contenders in the Eastern Conference, we go to Brooklyn in the battle between the top dogs in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks. And this was just so fun to watch. I mean, this was possibly a Eastern Conference, showdown, possibly Eastern Conference final showdown.
Yeah.
Depending on how if they get that far.
Mm-hmm.
And the stars came out to play. I mean, Durant and Harden was really balling. They was really hooping, and they was really looking good together, both of them. Like the chemistry. Well, I mean, we saw them have chemistry before. It was years ago, but we know they had chemistry. And now
in the All-Star team, in the All-Star game, they probably had chemistry too. So it's not just years ago. Like you can't just say that.
And now, you can see, they were really flowing. Like it's no everybody's getting the ball. Yeah. Joe Harris got to be the luckiest man on earth. I mean, he has the easiest job when you have those two offensive juggernauts, and you have to pay attention to them. He's going to be wide open all the time, and he's one of the best shooters in the league. So that's just easy pickings.
Well, he did beat out Stephen Curry in a 3-point contest, but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
but like,
did. I mean, he had a good 20 just for catch and
yeah,
shooting. I mean, it's just so easy for him to get those buckets when you have James Harden and Durant.
yeah.
Um,
And look at this is not this is look at we all said it, like, even though again I didn't like how it went down, let's be honest, this is a deadly offensive team. We've been saying it before James got there, and we're still going to be saying it with James on the team. It just makes it more better. The only thing, just mind you, they don't have Dinwiddie's not playing right now, so just
they
and
don't have
that
Kyrie either.
and they don't got Kyrie either, so that's two valuable offensive weapons that is missing, but yet your team is still clicking like this. The movement, the spacing, the 3-point shots, the ability to just pull up from mid range, probably the spacing helps you attack the basket more. It just flows so well that like this next team could be dangerous. Not even could be. They are dangerous. They are dangerous, and mind you, they don't even have their whole team intact. So that's what makes it astonishing when just watching this Nets team play, how good they look with their two stars, one new, one who has been there for a good minute now, and like with this whole team and the kind of chemistry and culture that they're building up. But we got to give props to Milwaukee though, because they were able to stick in the game.
Yep. Back to the game breakdown. It was really back and forth, and every time like the Nets looked like they was about to pull off and make a run
Mhm.
and close the game out, the Bucks stayed in, led
Yeah,
by Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis. They kept close because that's what you have to do with a deadly offensive team like the Nets. You have to stay close. And they was picking on DeAndre Jordan. They was picking on the high pick and roll. Actually, Middleton had like 15 of his points just off of that.
yeah,
The high pick and roll, and DeAndre would just sit and he wouldn't come up, and Middleton just pull up a jump shot. It was easy.
yeah. Well, DeAndre is their only true paint presence. Like like Charles Barkley highlights it so many times with this Nets team is kind of small in a way, and like that in that you're gonna need somebody like a big body like DeAndre Jordan. So, but with the way the game is going, he can't always be inside. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. He has to step out, and that's going to be a flaw for the Nets that they got to work around. How are they going to get used to when teams notice something like that, and they're going to take advantage of it,
Yeah,
and that's the Bucks the big time.
because that might be their weakness defensively. The Bucks ran like the same like 3 plays, and they was getting buckets off those plays just
Yeah,
because defensively they couldn't really match up with them. The Nets really couldn't match up with them,
yeah,
and that's how Middleton was able to get his, and Giannis was able to get easy dunks and easy layups,
yeah,
and that's how they stayed into the game. I mean, if you want to look to beat the Nets, just look how the Bucks played them offensively.
yeah.
You
And
know,
yeah, and that's the reason why Pimp has pinpoints to the fact of what you said, staying in the game. Just imagine if the even like they could like the Bucks kind of did all that, and yet the shots probably would never have went down. So if the shots would never went down, just know that they're not going to be able to stick in the game because they're not matching the same offensive production as the Nets. So
yeah,
that kind of took a tumble for them. But luckily they did. They took advantage of that disadvantage defensively of the Nets, and they were able to make their shots, of course, and they were able to stick close in this game. And and that's what you want to see every team or every championship slash playoff contending team do when going against a team like the Nets for sure.
yep. But at the end, of course, you can't stop KD. And also the Nets was just out hustling the Bucks on the rebounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how that KD shot was able to even happen because Harden chased down his own rebound
Hmm.
because he had missed the three, got it back off of the lack of hustle and lack of awareness of the Bucks, and because of everybody's scrambled all around, KD was wide open. He
Yeah.
was able to make the game-winning three,
Yeah.
and it didn't help that Middleton took a terrible shot. And then the next Bucks possession, I mean, that was a terrible shot. And he
Yeah.
was playing well the entire game, but that was bad. I mean, he had time on the shot clock. He didn't need to rush. KD was right on in his face, and he just pulled it.
Yeah.
That was a
That
bad shot.
that's a bad shot selection, and then that
And
will hinder him if he doesn't know when to be more wise with
mm,
that.
yeah, and they caught a break that KD, the ball slipped out of his hands, and they was
Mhm.
able to get another possession to try to tie the game or take the lead. And then Middleton took another bad shot, or it was another play design. I mean, he did get double teamed, but if you saw, I think they could have got to Giannis, who was streaking down the middle,
Middle, yeah, yes, he was taking down the middle, and
and
that's
that
the
could
reason
have been an easy dunk or an easy layup.
yeah, more wise with the things that you're doing on the on court awareness. You on the ball awareness, off the ball awareness. You need to notice plays like that because plays like that could be so crucial into the course of a game. And it's just unfortunate that he probably was panicking or something. I don't know. And he decided to just take that shots because he felt like he just wanted to do what he felt like was right for the team, I guess.
Yeah, that was a bad two last possessions for the Bucks. But this was a great game. I got to see more of how the Nets are working, and they're working pretty fine. They're working pretty well, and I can see how a team can beat them. It will be hard, but I can see how a team can beat them.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to beat them by stopping KD or Harden because you can't stop
Nah, you can only contain them. You can't stop them.
them. Yep. But a great game. Nets get a big win against the Milwaukee Bucks, and we'll see what the Nets can do more of when hopefully Kyrie comes back, and then see how that goes into the fold, and we see how the Bucks can bounce back from this loss.
Yeah.
But all right, and then the first primetime game on TNT featured the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, up against the, of course, second game back returning John Morant and the Grizzlies, and another good game. Well, like I said, all three of these games were great. And the Suns had the lead, and they looked like they was about to, go on a huge run and end this game.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies, led by their rookie of the year, this young star, John Morant, kept them in this game, and they went on an 11-2 run. Of course, it helped that Devin Booker somehow missed a dunk, but they went on an 11-2 run. Some big shots, a big pass to Grayson Allen, who had a big three,
Yeah.
and then a huge just charge, took the charge on Chris Paul, and they was able to close out this game and get this win against
And don't forget the
a
layup he
really,
had over Aiton.
yeah, the layup he had over
Yeah, over
eight, and
Aiton.
they was able to get this big win on this good Suns team.
Yeah. Um, I want to highlight Phoenix, the Suns first. You could see because they kept talking about it in the beginning of the course of the game, and you could see how it was happening. But they went to work a lot with DeAndre Jordan, getting him. I said DeAndre Jordan,
DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton, getting him more touches, and as a result, he was balling. He had a double double. I think he had 18 or 20, and
Yeah,
16.
yep, 18 and 16.
18 and 16. He was doing it big. He was being a really good inside
That's
presence
what
in
we
that pick
want
and roll man.
more of him. He needs to be so much more
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just needs the thing is it's just like there was times where he laid back at times, but there was mostly times in which he was being aggressive. He just needs to be in that mode of always being an aggressive attack mode, being that inside presence constantly. Devin Booker just like he kind of struggled this game
Yes, he
himself.
did.
He could and you could just see it was hurting him. Not being able to contribute in the scoring production because that's what he's mainly known to be as, that primary scorer. And to not see shots go in or to miss dunks like that, it could be demoralizing to him. But even with that, but I think that's the reason why the Suns probably didn't get off to that big run that we felt like we were seeing in the beginning, is because of the
Mhm.
fact that he didn't have his best game going. Um, but the Suns still give them credit. They were exchanging. Both teams were exchanging buckets to each other. But now when we talk about the Grizzlies led by John Morant defensively and just making big time shots, they were able to take out this win.
Well, in Big Sheet, the Grizzlies had, unlike the Suns, great help from their bench unit.
Mhm.
Grayson Allen stepped up big in this game, and he's been playing really well for the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
Even when John Morant was down, he's been playing really well in that, stepping up as a role player for them. Um, Tyrus Jones also played
Yeah,
well, and they got some help. John Moran in the starting lineup, Brandon Clark.
Brandon Clark.
So
Yeah,
so yeah, but you see now that Ja's back, they just
they
they
just
play with
yeah.
so much more like a system now.
Yeah. And the crazy thing
Before
is, John. Oh, sorry. Go on. My
I was just
bad.
gonna say like before, like the reason why they was able to stay in games is because they play hard. And now just take that, all of them playing hard and all that hustle. Now take that and form it into like a system, form it to like a bottle, and now just
Yeah, that's a
keep it
foundation.
well organized
Yeah.
and keep it, going every, just every time. That's
Yeah.
how they're playing now.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, John Moran struggled in the beginning too. He struggled to get off to a good start in the beginning, and like you can see it. And again, when your stars start to get it going, it has a highly impact on your team. And as a result, he started to get it going in the second half. And again, you just said it, mainly led by him coming down that stretch, they were able to pull out a win. And this is what you
Hmm.
want to see from a guy like John Morant, who's a star and the leader of his team. So good job by the Grizzlies. That foundation, that structure that you just talked about, just continue. That will win them ball games. That will win them ball games if they keep that up.
Yes, that will. And I'm happy to see the Grizzlies playing like this. They are my surprise team.
Mhm.
And they were 4-4, staying in the mix without Ja. Now he's back and they won two in a row and they're over 500. They keep
Mhm.
playing like this, they can get to a playing game or possibly don't even have to play a playing game.
Exactly.
But
And
yeah,
yeah, hopefully, yeah,
a great gutsy win by the Grizzlies against a good Suns team, and I will be keeping my eye on them in their future games to see how well they'll be doing.
yeah,
But all right, I'll give I guess a quick breakdown, quick recap of the rest of the games that happened
yeah.
throughout the day. First, starting off with the Knicks against the Magic. I'm wearing the hat, so the Knicks won. They almost blew the lead, but they won. So I guess a win is a win.
Yeah.
Julius Randle, he was struggling, but he still had a good game. RJ Barrett, who's been playing really well in the past few games. And Emmanuel Quickly, who I believe should probably be inserted in the starting lineup soon,
Yes,
pretty soon. But I understand Tibbs want to, you don't want to push him too early. So, but nonetheless, yeah, Knicks win against the Magic, and the Magic now lose 6 in a row. Next, the Timberwolves and the Hawks played. Of course, the Hawks won. The Timberwolves don't really have anybody besides D'Angelo. They have Anthony Edwards,
yeah,
but they need Cat. You can see that they need Cat, and they're struggling defensively and offensively. They don't have no system in play without him. He is basically their system. He's a big part of them. So when he's not there, they struggle. The Hawks playing great, a great team win, a great team effort. By the way, their jerseys was fire. M.O.K. Day jerseys. Did you see those?
no, I didn't get to see them, man.
It was black and the titles were gold. It was really fire.
Oh,
But yes,
it has the big MLK on it. Does it?
yes, yes, yes,
I think I seen a preview of them. I never really I didn't see them wearing it though, but I seen a preview of them. They do look fine.
yes. Like I said, the Hawks beat the Timberwolves. Next up, the Portland Trailblazers at the Spurs, and of course, Trailblazers play no defense. So when you don't have it going on offensively, what you think's gonna happen? They
Mm,
lost, and CJ McCollum didn't play this game, which is a big part of that.
yeah,
When you don't have that offensive production, and when you're terrible on defense, there's no way you can win.
yeah.
That's pretty much was. Damian Lillard was the only one that had a really good game for the Trailblazers, and the Spurs played well against them, and they've been playing well game against everybody throughout the season. There's rookies and they're rookies. They're young talents. Kendall Johnson, Lonnie Walker, DeJounte Murray has been playing really well. Craig Popovich has really coached them up, and they're playing with so much energy. And you see that they're maturing each game, and it's really looking good for the Spurs. It's really looking good for them.
The Rosen. Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
Yes, DeRozan is their best player. Yeah, he's on the team as well. Uh, what?
I'm not saying nothing.
All right. The Raptors and the Mavericks played. The Raptors won. The Miami and the Pistons. Let me stop. The Raptors now win 3 straight, but their first 2 wins was against the Hornets, and this win was against the Mavericks, who has been just inconsistent and struggling. each game. I need to see more. I need to see the one be the actual, good team,
Yeah.
actual great team. So I'm gonna hold off on all the praises against the Raptors right now.
Yeah.
The Heat played against the Pistons, and Tyler Hero didn't play, but Bam and Dragic came back, and they came up big for the Heat against this Pistons team, and they was able to close it out and win this game for them. Even though Jeremy Grant had another exceptional game for the Pistons, but like I said, when you play on a bad team, those points, is not going to do anything for you,
Yeah.
at least for the team's effort. The Bulls against the Rockets. Oladipo made his debut in the Houston uniform, and he really showed why they wanted him, why he was a perfect fit for them. Dropped 32. He was their team's leader, but in the end, you see that they lack depth and they lack leadership. They need John Wall back. He's still hurt, and they fall to the Bulls, who's been playing pretty good basketball in the past 2 games, with Lauri Markkanen back in the lineup and Zach LaVine, of course, playing at an all-star level.
My player to watch.
Yes, that is your player to watch. And yep, that is your player to watch. And with all that, that is the end of the wrap-up, with the Bulls beating the Rockets 125-120.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Now it's prediction time for tonight's set of games. A couple of games. Only 2 games for tonight. With the only primetime game that we'll be covering unless they get postponed. The Pelicans up against the Jazz. Who you got?
Pelicans.
I got the Jazz. They've been playing really well.
Yeah, they have been playing really well. Yes, they have.
And next and last, the Thunder and the Nuggets.
The Nuggets, because they need to bounce back. I choose them.
They do need to bounce back, but I think they're gonna be caught by surprise against the Thunder team. As a lot of teams have been caught by surprise against this Thunder team.
They've been catching people by surprise since last season, man. I'm not surprised by this at this
point. Yep. But all right. All that being done, I think it's time to wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
I just want to say something real quickly about that Lakers versus Warriors game. Also, did you see the last part? When you look at that last possession, the Warriors did really good defense on Anthony Davis for keeping him getting the ball, because they
did not want to, and they forced LeBron to have a tough 3, which I've seen him make that shot against the Raptors in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but sometimes it doesn't always go your way.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say that Stephen Curry, I believe, is 13 threes away from passing Reggie Miller, second on the all-time 3-point list. And he hasn't even reached the end of his career, and he's about to pass Reggie Miller.
That speaks to his greatness, man.
And that speaks to his greatness and his impact. He's just a special player to watch. One of the greatest players of all time already. And he's already the greatest shooter of all time. To me, there's no debate. He is the greatest shooter of all time.
Well, I can't. Well, yeah, people. Yeah, he's the greatest shooter of this generation, the greatest shooter of all time. That's an argument, but I feel like it's almost like when you talk about MJ and the GOAT conversation. Like, there's no even though there's an argument for others, there's no argument. He's the best. He's the best shooter.
Nah, but I think this is more clear cut than GOAT. I mean, if you got the other great 3-point shooters, say you're the greatest, Reggie Miller and Ray Allen saying that you're the greatest, I think that validates you. You're the greatest.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we'll leave it off at that. Thank you guys for watching today's pod. Make sure you tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
And make sure to follow our IG down in the description below.
And once again, I am Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this was the Mind of Basketball Podcast.